Hello, hello. How's everybody doing tonight? It is 8 o'clock. We are live. Hello, hello. Well, let's get right into it. It's just gonna be me tonight. No Discord call, no anybody else. Just me and you guys. We're gonna be playing on some Spinosaurus tonight. Doing my favorite thing in the world. You're here? It's good to see you, Goose. Glad you're here. If y'all will give me just a few minutes, I have to go find my charger for my phone, so that way I can make sure I have chat pulled up the whole time, so I can read what y'all are saying while I'm playing. I'll be right back. Alright, we've got that taken care of. Alright, well, let's get into it. Alright, look. I know I promised you guys some build crafting talk and some spino balancing talk, but I am probably going to wait a little bit before I get into that. Just for the sake of avoiding just info dumping on all of you, because I have a lot of thoughts and feelings on Spino. I play Spino a lot, and by a lot I mean almost exclusively. This is my most played dinosaur in all of Path of Titans. It's without question my favorite. So, a little bit about my mindset when I'm playing solo on something as big as a Spinosaurus. Is that... So since you're so big, when you're on a tier 5 or a 5 slaughter or an apex, however you want to categorize them, is that you don't really have the option to consent to fights without the other person also consenting. And what I mean by that is, like, specifically in Spinosaurus' case, it's too damn slow to catch anything. So anything that you fight has to want to fight you. And that can prove problematic when the thing that wants to fight you is a Tyrannosaurus Rex with 3 Tyrannotitans at its back. Know what I'm saying? And so, a big key to surviving solo on a 5 slaughter is being able to read a situation and make a decision on how you want to handle it before things escalate. Reading other players' body language when you run into them, if they're trying to be friendly, keeping a constant awareness of what other creatures are in your area, or in your POI, or near your POI, and always making sure that your position on the map and where you choose to go is done intentionally. When you're wandering around, you always have to be planning your outs. Plan your route out. Always have a backup plan. Always have something that you can do immediately the moment you think something's going to go wrong. And you want to start doing that thing before things go wrong, because you are too slow to be able to act reactively. When you're on a T5, you always need to be proactive, because if you're not being proactive, you're probably getting killed. Another aspect of being proactive is carrying yourself with confidence. Body language can get you out of a lot of situations that you otherwise wouldn't want to be in or would be disadvantageous to you. The whole idea of like, lions never worry about things at their back when they're drinking water. You know, like if a zebra's nearby, like the prey is always aware of the predator, but the predator doesn't give a shit about the prey, kind of idea. You have to have that stuff on lock. And that's where the whole purposeful movement comes in. Moving with purpose, moving with intention. I'm not saying broadcast all the time and brag about your location, because that's just asking to get jumped by a mega pack looking for an easy kill. But when you walk up on somebody and you're not sure if you can take them, act like you can take them. Because odds are they're also sizing you up that same way. And you being confident in your ability to take them on will probably, majority of the time, deter them from taking you on. Unless you come across one of those hardcore PvPers, in which case, like, your destiny was already sealed. You were already gonna have to throw hands. Average alpha male talk? I mean, specifically with T5s, Goose, it really is kind of how you have to, like, it really is how you have to play the game, you know? Another thing you have to be super mindful of when you're playing solo is you have to stay calm at all times. Even when you start to get low on health or you feel like you're starting to lose a fight, you have to keep your cool. A majority of the time, what I see happen when I'm fighting somebody on officials is we'll be fighting and then they'll start to get low on HP, you know, they'll start to get to that death scars range, and then they turn and try to run away. Right? Because they start panicking, they're afraid, they don't want to die, and so they start trying to get away. That's a mistake. That is always, always, always a mistake. Because majority of the time, the person you're fighting is also really low. The only instance where you're getting low and they aren't is in situations where they're just outplaying you. Right? Specifically in regards to like a 1v1 where they're the same general weight class as you, right? But if you trust your ability and you are educated on what your playable is capable of, and you know how much damage you can put out, and you are keeping a subconscious log of where you've hit them, how many times you've hit them, sort of thing, you can have the general idea of how close you are to killing them. And a lot of times, you can start to get low, and you'll be real scared, and it'll be real spooky, and you'll want to turn and run, but if you just stick it out, you'll beat them. Especially if you're on something that's very capable of face tanking, like a Spinosaurus as an example, you're going to be taking a lot of damage. You're just, like, it's part of the gig. You're going to take a lot of damage, and it's going to hurt. But just take it on the chin and keep fighting. Odds are you'll come out on top. As long as you move right and aren't just getting tail ridden the entire time. So just throwing that on to all of you so you have an idea of what I'm thinking as we go through this stream, as we encounter different situations. I'll try and explain myself more actively, like when we are in those circumstances, just so you have an idea of where my headspace is at and why I'm making the decisions I'm making. That was a Tyranititan, and that, I think, came from Birchwoods? Birchwoods Green Hill? I don't trust it. Majority of the time, if a Tyranititan's broadcasting, it's because they got a group. And, like, I can take on a Titan, but it's not the Titan I'm worried about. It's whatever the hell it brought with it. So we're gonna loop over. We're gonna loop over to this bay right here, and we're gonna see if we can peek at whatever is going on over here. Because see, that Salt Flats group just moved to Big Quill. And they could be on the prowl. So we're gonna have to be extra careful. They might have semi-aquatics with them. Oh, they moved back to Salt Flats. Yeah, but they might have some stragglers out in these areas. Scouts, not stragglers. They might have scouts that'll blow the whistle when they find prey, bring everything else come crashing down. And of course there's always the chance that if they see me, they log off and swap to semis to try and chase me down. Yeah, that's a lot of noise coming from the Salt Flats area. Now, I'm not sprinting upriver at the moment because I'm not really in a hurry to get up there. And I don't want to get caught in a position where I'm crossing paths with other semi-aquatics coming the opposite direction, and I'm low on stam. I want to make sure that I am in tip-top shape. I would rather catch them with their pants down than them catch me with mine. Because 99% of the time, if I catch a Spino that's been sprinting upriver by itself, and I know it's been sprint swimming, I will chase it down and kill it. Because I know I can. Alright, the ruckus is coming more from the Salt Flats area. So we're going to go to Sand Caverns. I know I said I was going to go into the bay, but I don't think I need to at this point. We're going to go check out Sand Caverns and the north coast of Salt Flats. And what we'll probably end up doing is we'll probably end up in Burn Forest to top up our water. But no, actually we shouldn't need to do that. We'll probably end up going to Rainbow Hills if I'm being real. I like going to Rainbow Hills. It's a cool little POI. I like the bay. The walk across here, cutting past the peninsula, is pretty short. There's a freshwater pit stop. Sometimes you run into somebody, and it's just far enough away from Hunter's Thicket that it's not too much of a problem. There's that foul. Yep, scout number 1. It's either scouting for that group or it's swooping over to head to Big Quill to see what all the fuss is about. This might be an alpha critter right here. If it is, we're just gonna sprint swim straight past it. I'm not. We've got some footsteps going on over here. I hear a Rex. Something fighting a Rex. bait the Thal into a sense of security. Let's see if we can... Come on, Rexy, turn around. I want to get this Thal. Yeah, we ain't getting that Thal. But we tried. Alright. Well. You took a nap sandwich? That's all good. We were just getting in a little bit of action. Tried to trick a Thal into getting comfy with us so we could take it out, but didn't quite pan out, so the little bastard was smarter than I gave it credit for, so we're gonna move on before he calls in the cavalry. Oh, you didn't know I was streaming? Sandwich. It's Monday. I stream 8 o'clock every Monday. Come on. Happy the baby Rex got away? Yeah, I don't know if it really got away. Like, it's fine for right now, but I'm gonna be real. If I was that baby Rex, I would be logging off in that cave and swapping servers. Ooh, yeah, see where that roar came from? Yeah. Cavalry got called there. Yeah. Yeah, that Rex needs to be long gone. Got any tips on asking a girl out? Never done this before. Well, you're asking both the right guy and the wrong guy. The right guy in the sense that I'm married happily to my wife. So clearly I did something right. Bad in the sense that I've been off the saddle for quite some time because of that. I have no idea how I managed it. You want to get a girlfriend, you're bored of being alone? Alright, yeah, I get that. I get that. I know that feeling. Honestly, being forward probably is a good bet. Not too forward, obviously. You don't want to be a creep or anything. But like, if you're talking to a girl, as long as you're honest about your intentions, and then yeah. Go back to the start of the stream. No, do not apply what I said at the start of the stream to dating. That is not what it is intended for. Is that a Thal? Is that Thal following me? No, we're good. I'm just hearing things. We're going to Rainbow Hills. You're an introvert, by the way? Yeah, I've got an introvert friend, and unfortunately, he's kind of a neat. He just sits in his apartment all day, playing video games, unless he's working. Definitely did not think I was going to be giving dating advice this stream, but here we go. We're going to do our best here. Only ever talked to girls in school when you were young? Yeah, that's not a good point of reference. I'm gonna be real. Guys say some stupid shit whenever they're talking to girls, whenever they're young and dumb. I don't know. I think before you worry about, like... Oh, you don't think you talk to girls at all in high school, middle school? Well, that's okay. That's a really bad time to date anyways. Like, everybody's still figuring themselves out. Like, most of those relationships don't last, and if they do, they're typically pretty toxic. Like, you gotta give yourself some time to mature, kind of grow into yourself, figure out who you are before you start looking for someone to spend the rest of your life with, right? So... I think the best thing you can do to start out Sandwich is just try to socialize, you know, get involved in some communities. Get out, you know, go do things, meet people. And if you find somebody you like, you know, just be honest. Right? How you ask a girl out really just depends on who you're asking out. Yeah, you're gonna have to get out of your comfort zone, Sandwich. Being quiet doesn't get you girlfriends. Like, you might get lucky and an extrovert will adopt you, but that's a maybe. You shouldn't bet on that. But yeah, no, go find a community that is related to some activity that you really like, and meet some people that you have a common interest with. Start there, you know. That's the best advice I can give you right now, you know. Baby steps, one thing at a time. Is that an Achillibator? That's an Achillibator. How long this boy been running for? That's the question. Ooh. Ooh. It's taking materials somewhere. This guy's trying to build a nest. Well, we're out in the boondocks. There's 2 Achillibators. Now this is more like it. Best way I'm gonna get a fight out of these is if I find their nest and start breaking it. I just gotta piss them off. Is this it? Is this it, chat? Yeah, this is it. Yeah. Come on. You gonna come down and get me? Yeah. How do you like that, hmm? Not too hot on that. Yeah, you're talking in chat, but I have chat disabled, y'all. I have global chat disabled. They can't hear you. By they, I mean me. I can't hear you. That's the smartest thing you've done all day. Come on. Yeah, I'm just gonna reapply my wet buff very calmly. Come on. Come on. No? Don't want to come dance? Alright, that's fine. We tried. We can say we tried. Now, normally when I'm playing solo, I usually have chat enabled, just so that way I can keep tabs on who's yapping in local and what's being said in global, but kind of wanted to run blind for this stream. Alright, we're gonna go into the bay. You don't have any interest besides baseball, Sandwich? Well, hey, baseball's something. You got any local teams you play for? If you don't, maybe you should. Weather's getting windy. You can tell it's windy when you're underwater and you hear that rumble up top. Most of the damage we took from that fight was from all that fall damage from that buggy terrain. So we'll try and heal that off before we get into another engagement, but might take a few minutes. So we're gonna head for some fresh water. And got your dad's body? Well, do you watch baseball live or like do you go to local games and watch, or you just watch on TV? for streaming services. Hell, you could even just, like, play recreationally, you know? Like, honestly, your best bet's just, you know, get out of the house. Ooh, we got a Sarco. Multiple Sarcos. A Sarco and a Nitty Sarco. What do you think, chat? You think we take this? See, unfortunately, Sarco outruns Spino on land, as far as sprinting goes. Their trot's a little bit worse, but they've got enough stand to beat us out. 75%, so prob not. I don't know, I feel like on land I could win that. Not in the water, though. If it came into the water to fight me, that's bad news bears. That asphyxiating snap would be the end of me. But Sarco's frail enough. Beat it on DPS. But the big worry here is that it's not by itself, right? It's got the little Sarco. There could be another adult Sarco hiding somewhere. And that's where I'd really get shafted. So what we're going to do... So we're going to let our natural healing keep running its course. It's going to slow down a little bit when we get out of the water here. Because my build, I run Streamlined Hide. But I will still be healing. That's what's important. I've got max waterborne buff. We're going to get some fresh water. Keep our healing rate topped up. I've heard rumors that your healing rate is affected by how full your hunger and thirst are. But I don't know where that's mentioned officially. It could just be like one of those old wives' tales, like a rumor. There's that crocodile. I wonder if it's waiting to see if I have any friends. Is it hurt? Looked like it had some scarring on its tail. Alright, we're gonna dip in here. Top up our water buff, and then we're going to start walking towards this Sarco. We'll start walking it down. Not really noticeable until you get around half HP. Yeah. Yep. That is the case. Found you! And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you beat a Sarco on land. Hide this there. Top up our food. Not noticeable till you get around half at hunger. Gotcha. Well, we weren't even at full, and I say we got down to 3/4. Dumb Sarco. Yeah, it was pretty dumb. It was pretty dumb. Alright, Sandwich, give me the down low on what that Sarco did wrong. I want to know what you think its mistake was. Because I think there were several things that it did wrong, but I want to know what you think. Do we take the trophy, chat, or do we give the trophy to the small Sarco? Pyro, solo means that I am not playing with friends or grouping with anybody. He forgot to tail ride me and forgot to run. Running to Rotter would be his best. Comes out a Kilobator. Take it, greed? Nah. I don't have the time or the energy. So I'm gonna put that trophy there. And then I'm gonna leave. I think if the Sarco wanted me to fight on or wanted to fight me on land, it really should have been running a mud build. Show it off to the baby. What do you hear in the background? I have no idea what you're hearing in the background, Sandwich. I don't know what my mic's picking up. I really don't. But those Achilles did show up to eat that Sarco, which is kind of whack that they knew that that was there. Was the Sarco with the Achilles? I guess we gonna find out. Let's see if I can run this one down. Maybe letting them lay down is the mistake here. Sounds like someone talking. That might be my wife recording her radio work in the other room, which would be weird that my mic would be picking it up, because she's like 2 rooms away, but... She did leave the door open, so... Could be it. Alright. They're not doing very well damage-wise, honestly. But they're managing their stamina well, which is something. Damn. Overbite. Should have gone for the claw there. Yeah. Ooh, that one did not like getting hit in the face there. I'm just gonna keep walking towards the water, bucko. Yep. Yeah, you didn't like that. You didn't like that one bit. Yeah. If you want the smoke, come get it. I ain't chasing you across Kingdom Come. You'll outrun me. Come on, do something stupid. Do something really, really stupid. I need you to do something really dumb. It's the only way I'm gonna kill you is if you do something really, really dumb. Hill play was solid. Yeah. Yeah. But it also gives them the advantage of being able to jump onto things that I can't reach. Really? You're just gonna T-pose on me? Posture walk at me? Brother. Brother. I am not entertained. I am gonna get my wet buff replenished here. Yeah, let's see how much you like that cliff, huh? Yeah, that's right. Look at him. I know I didn't get a kill there, but I'm gonna call that a win. Showed up, broke their nest. Fucked off. Assert dominance spin. Spin on him? No, I'm not gonna spin on them. Do you know how slow this thing spins? Okay. Well, we killed a very dumb Sarco. And we bullied a couple of Achilles. I call that a W. And look at that, we're at full health. How about that? How about that, y'all? We're gonna touch red kelp here. Get that blue quest. Because we like marks. Marks are cool. Isn't living a win condition? Yes, living is technically a win condition. So technically there were no losers with that Achilles engagement. You could argue that they won because I left. However, I did show up and break their nest, and they couldn't really stop me. So, who won really depends on what each side's objective was. Like, if their objective was just to annoy me, it didn't really work, because, like, meh. I don't care, it's a game, you know? If their objective was to drive me out of the POI, then they succeeded. My objective was to show up, bully them, maybe bait them into fighting me, maybe get a kill, but then, you know, leave. So, you know, leave if I couldn't, because I'm a Spino, so if they want to run away from me and drag things out, then that's fine. I'm sure they would have loved to drag it out longer, because the longer they drag it out, the more likely they are to have their friends from Discord jump in. They didn't have much of a nest, it was pretty small. Yeah, they were just starting to put it together. But, you know, even if I inconvenience them a little bit by, you know, breaking it and distracting them via fights and whatnot for some time, I think that's fine. The big thing I was trying to do, which maybe I wasn't doing it well enough, because what I was trying to do is I was trying to get the Achilles that were pounced on me stuck between me and a cliff. But I think I was hugging the cliff too closely, and so when they unlatched, they clipped through me and away from the wall, and were able to get out. So next time I might have to give a little bit more space. Usually, when you hit another player, their dinosaur has a, like, alarmed audio sound that will play whenever they take a hit, and you'll also see, like, a slight blood spatter come out from the location that you hit them, like a pretty fleeting animation. Also, a good way to check and see if you landed the hit is if you see your combat timer reset to 30 seconds, you probably landed the hit, or they hit you, one of the two. They ran. If I'd crouched, that is definitely worth trying next time. I will definitely try crouching next time, and maybe that will solve the problem. But I also think I should have been sprinting into them, because Spino can kind of clip you in place and pin you with model meshing if it's sprinting into you. But also I could have gotten trample damage. I oftentimes forget that they did update the trample damage. When the red skin Achilles pounced you, he pounced for way too long and then used bark right after. A big reason I didn't chase him is because I have not fought very many Achillebators on my Spino, and I'm still kind of new to that matchup. Because normally I don't have to bother with them, because I just go into the water and they leave me alone. But also I don't play Achilles, So I'm not familiar with how its stamina consumption feels most of the time, is a big reason. So it's just a lack of matchup knowledge and experience is why I didn't chase him. But you're right, I should have chased him. That would have been the correct thing to do. That was definitely a mistake he made that I could have capitalized on. Welcome to the stream, Frog. Have I tried getting good? Yeah, I try every day. That's what we're here for. That's why we're headed to Savannah. Leeching Bat, welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. Alright, I'm gonna go up for some oxygen. And back down we go. I'm gonna set the auto walk. So, oh, guess who's been server hopping and gotten to my server? Oh, great. You're not in my server. Quit capping. Quit capping. Oh, not you? Okay, I didn't see that part. As soon as I saw your first messages, I started looking through the player list. You got me there. You got me there, Sandwich. Okay, no one else is sniping me. That's fine. I can live with that. I could do to go a stream without getting sniped. This game has your favorite funky sea dinos? That is true, however, big disclaimer. I'm gonna show you something real quick, Pyro. I'm gonna show you something, alright? Okay, you see this map? You see all this ocean? All this ocean? You wanna know what the problem with all that ocean is? It's on the outside of the map. Do you wanna know where all the players are? Inside of the map. So you know where there aren't players? Outside of the map. Don't break your heart. Look, I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to be honest with you. There's only 2 fully aquatic creatures in this entire game. They're both carnivores. And they are completely secluded, for the most part. They are completely secluded from the rest of the player base. And so they are extremely boring to play, because there is nothing going on in the ocean. And so nobody plays them. It's very rare that you see them. You do see them, just not often. And they're usually grouped with other playables that are like semi-aquatic, and they usually try to go like prowl around the coasts and beat up people that are by themselves, is really what they do. Or they like jump solos that are questing out in the ocean, because a lot of like semi-aquatics that are trying to grow their playables will go quest out in the ocean because there's usually nobody out there. And so sometimes Discord groups will jump on their kaiwakias and they'll go seal clubbing and they'll go just kill people who are out questing out in the middle of the water with no real escape onto land available. That may be a case to play them, yeah. But if I was gonna go bullying people that were questing out in the ocean, I'd probably just go solo, because I feel like jumping those people when you're in a group is just kind of scummy. You know, like it's too easy. Thoughts on full aquatics ignoring fun factor? Nah. Fun factor is kind of like the only factor that matters. So like if I ignore everything important to the gaming experience in my analysis of them, right, which is fun, okay, if I completely ignore that one critical piece of gameplay experience, they're mid. Holy crap, sandwiches in a non-toxic server? That's awesome for you. You should stay there. How do I feel about flyers? Okay, this is my personal hashtag Zilla hot take. I think the flyers should be completely disabled until the matchmaking changes are rolled out. Because as it stands, the thing that they are most commonly used for is griefing and revenge killing. I don't think the flyers deserve to be used as griefers and revenge killers. I think that as creatures, they have a far more interesting role to play in an ecosystem. And I think what the community uses them for is a clear bastardization of what they're supposed to be. And they're a perfect example of why we can't have nice things. Hats got nerfed because of griefers. Hats deserves better than that. You just want to fly around, man? Yeah, well, you're going to have to fly around in skies populated by a bunch of assholes. And they're probably going to kill you on their way to go kill a bunch of other people. I'm just being real with you. Sandwich, I don't think hats deserved the nerf that it got. I think people that abused hats deserved the nerf that it got. Does that make sense? That's my take on it. Well, I think I just heard a Tyranititan coming from over by Desolate Pass. Rip birds. Yeah. Honestly, rest in peace, birds. They deserved better. Oh. That was not coming from Desolate Pass. That's coming from the Waystone. Oh boy. You wish you could play as a trilobite? There's a mod for that. You can go play a silly little horseshoe crab on community servers, just not on officials. Oh, alpha crab. Swim away. Alright, I'm gonna go find a fish that can give me bite or bleed heal rate, and then I'm gonna go up there. Chat, if you notice that the Waystone is getting refilled, please let me know, because I'm having a hard time paying attention to it. Like, I know it's recharging passively, but like if you see it jump by 4% and I don't catch it, let me know. Okay, so they have a conch. Whoever they are, they have a conch. So the water is not a completely safe retreat option for me. 3 actually opportunities this stream. Yeah, see, Pyro, I flee from the crab because the crab does percentile damage. That's why I flee from the crab. Alright, you know what? We're just gonna get this turtle, and we're gonna get a tuna, and we're gonna call it a day. And those will be our 2 buffs. Crab Rave too strong? Yeah, Crab Rave is too strong. %58. 59. Do you think they'd go for the freshwater? Because I haven't heard them. Or seen them yet. I think they're going to go for the freshwater. That's what my gut tells me. My gut's usually not wrong. Like, unless they're headed to Desolate Pass, they're going to stop at the freshwater in Savannah. Which, if they're going to Desolate Pass, they're probably headed for Hot Springs, which, if I don't see them at the freshwater pond, I can just whip around and cut them off. Yeah, Waystones are a TP. They let you rendezvous with friends quicker by pulling them across the map. They are not at the freshwater. Alright, we're gonna go to Hot Springs. Because that's the next closest water source, if they're going for this area, at least. Obviously, if they're heading down to Grand Plains, they'll cut through Desolate Pass and down to Sharptooth. And they'll probably get water there. In which case, I just kind of, you know, I missed them. But if we missed them, it's fine, because from what it sounded like, it was a Titan and a Conch. Yeah, honestly, I don't even really use Waystones to TP people. I use it for information on a POI. Or as bait. A trick my group often employs, and this is me letting you in on a little secret chat, alright? These are some 4D chess level tactics. Something that group and I will do is if we've got a ramp player with us, like if we've got a ramp in our group, and we know another big group is trying to use the Waystone in an area, we'll go take over the Waystone, and then we will TP in our ramp, who is in the POI, mind you. We will burn the Waystone on our group member who's nearby on a disposable creature, and trick the other groups in the area into thinking we're bringing more people to get them to fuck off and leave us alone. Pyro, that's a great series of questions. Which dino has the worst player base versus the best player base? Are we talking in terms of quality of person or like quality of skill at the game? Because those are two different answers for both of those. I'll wait for your clarification before I respond. quality of person, I would have to say that Thalmanes are currently the worst. But the Thalmane community has been polluted by Hats mains who are so upset about the condition of Hats that they are now playing Thal to get their itch instead. So really, it's actually the Hats community, I would say. Now, that's not to say it's every Hats player, but it's always a Hats player. You know what I mean? As far as, like, good, that's hard to say, because it depends on what your definition of good is, because, like, if you think someone that, like, always helps a baby out regardless of what species they are, and, like, gives trophies and, like, protects them and adopts them no matter what, if you think that's a good player, then it's hard to say. But, like, if you're just talking about, like, non-toxic, I don't know. I really don't know how to answer that question, because it's really hard for me to compliment the greater Path community. Like, I don't know. 80% of your good interactions have been tasks. Eh. Yeah, I can't really say I've encountered a bad like a negative DASP experience. Spinos are too slow to cause any real harm unless they're in, like, unless you're also on a Spino and they're, like, in a huge group of full water builds and they chase you down to the ends of the earth and kill you. But that's just, like, that's not unique to Spino. That's just a Discord mega pack deciding to play on Spino that day. You know? Well, chat, I can say definitively the Titan and the Conch did not come to Hot Springs, which means that they probably went through Sharptooth and are in GP now. So, unfortunately, we're not going to be getting any action on that front. But that's okay, because it gives me more time to talk to y'all. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I can't really, I can't really pick a specific dino that I would say the community is fantastic with. I should one call for funsies. Are you insane? Do you know where I'm standing? Wow, Frogro catching strays. My most hated player? I don't have one, if I'm being honest. Man, Goose and Sandwich really got the beef. I'm gonna politely make sure that it's not personal. Right, guys? Right? Like, this is all, like, in good fun? You don't actually hate each other? What do the various calls mean? So, usually... okay, so... they're numerically ordered as they appear on the vocal wheel. 1 calls are your broadcasts, which those carry extremely far. Welcome to the stream, Dust. You know what, Dust? I think my most hated player is also Frogro. In that case. 1 call is your broadcast, 2 call is your friendly call, 3 call is your aggro call, and 4 call is your alarmed call. which is the same as the call sound that you make whenever you are hurt and take damage. Dust appears and suddenly Frogro's outnumbered. Yep. Good breakdown, Goose. Well, chat, I think we should probably leave Hot Springs. Hey, Big Spoon. Hey, what's up? Welcome to the stream, Nextbur. How are you doing tonight? What call to make friends? That would be the 3 call. But if you want to invite them to the group, then yeah, it would be this one right here. It makes the same audio cue as your. See, I lied to you. It's not the 3 call. 3 call is not make friend. 3 call is make enemy. 2 call is make friend. You fell for my classic blunder. Y'all heard that, right? Alright, place your bets. I think it's a bars. Chat, what do we think it was? It's definitely coming from Hunter's Thicket, but what do we think it was? How do you kiss your homies in game? Great question. You get on Megalania. You walk up to somebody and you press R on your keyboard. That's how you do it. How do you kiss another aloe? I don't know. I don't know, dog. Chat, nobody is telling me what you think that sound was. What is going on here? Are you even listening to me? Tisk tisk. So misbehaved. So spoiled. Oh, you thought it was an aloe? You clearly have never heard an aloe 1 call. But it could have been. I doubt it, but it's possible. I also haven't heard the distant sound for aloe's 1 call in quite some time. Mainly because people don't really play aloe that much anymore. Its nerfs kind of shafted it. It's a pick? No. Well, I guess we all lose the bet. A pick? No, it was. You didn't really hear, just didn't want to leave me hanging? Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I want to give a quick shout out to chat. We are at 11 concurrent viewers. Thank you everybody who turned out to come watch. I love all of you. You're fantastic. Thank you so much. Really means a lot to me that I'm pulling these kind of numbers on stream number 4. So, genuine thank you to all of you who decided to stop by. Okay, I am going to yoink this Arapaima. When I'm not failing horribly at yoinking this Arapaima. First try. First try, obviously. Shockingly, Hunter's Thicket is completely dead. Which, for whatever reason, has nothing to do with the server time or population, because there are 87 people on, and the server's only been up for an hour and a half. So... this is interesting. Dead aquatic critter. Means there's a semi-aquatic critter. Ladies and gentlemen, we found our prey. Is this the Sarco we encountered in Rainbow? If I just don't get stuck on the terrain. It was, in fact, the same Sarco. Because it tried the same thing again. Chat, I think we're keeping this one. Yeah, good night, Sarco. Dude, that's what you get for trying to face tank a Spino. Sarco is a glass cannon, y'all. You cannot sit there and win a face tank with the face tank Apex. Fucking alpha critters. Alright. Into the water. We are lucky that we have an Arapaima buff, because we are going to heal this nonsense off very quickly. But I am going to go ahead and make for home cave to turn this in. GG. GG, Tom Suler. If that was you, GG. Now type easy in chat. No. No. I'm not gonna do that. Okay, Scratch going to home cave. There's no way. Scratch going in the water. We're going to home cave. Yeah, I would much rather fight these things on land than in the water. No, thank you. Yeah. Holy. To be fair, that was very easy. I mean, it did... That Sarco player did the one thing they weren't supposed to do against a Spino. Sorry, they did the two things they weren't supposed to do against the Spino. Thing number one, they fought it on land. Thing number two, they face tanked it. Like, yeah, you just can't do that, guys. You can't do that. Ugh. Well, chat, do you think it's about time that I start talking about spinal balance? And my thoughts on it? Because I touched a little bit on this in my debut stream at one point. But I'm happy, more than happy, to go over it again and in more detail with all of you present. Pyro says yay. Okay, we've got one yay. Frogro says yap away, Zilla. Pyro doubling down says get into it. Get to it, Dino Boy. Okay, okay. Alright, alright, alright. We got two people that want it real bad. Okay. So, as it stands, Spino's whole thing What the hell was that broadcast? Sounds like the Sarcos came up. Okay, we're gonna go Snake Gully. I'm gonna use... Hold on, I'll get into it as soon as I get into a safer area. Okay. I feel comfier now that I have a massive cliff between me and those Sarcos. So we're just gonna keep on trucking. Okay. So Spino's whole shtick is being big, being tanky, right? When we talk about spinal balance, we have to talk a little bit about how game design philosophy affects gameplay. BRB2 Nostalgia, I have a question. When playing Spino, do you experience a bug while using the arm slam? You'll have to be more specific. What are you referring to? Describe the bug or the situation to me, and I can tell you whether or not I experience it or not. Though I should preface, I haven't used it since last patch, so my information might be outdated. It referring to Claw Slam. I'll wait for you to clarify your bug description. Want to deep fry baby Spino tail and eat it? You know, I bet it would taste a lot like alligator, if I'm being honest. Suffice to say, I think it would taste pretty good. Okay, Nostalgia's taking a little bit to get back to me on the bug they're describing, or the bug they're referring to, so I will get back to talking about the ground rules for Spino. So when we talk about Spino balancing, we have to talk about the inherent game design behind a tank roll in most other gameplay experiences. So tanks excel in objective-based scenarios. They're very good at going to a spot and staying in that spot for extended periods of time against heavy resistance. Now, in the case of Spino, what Alderaan has decided to do is they've decided to make that spot that Spino picks the beach. The riverbanks, the coasts. It's a beach bully. So, because it's not mobile enough to chase anything other than itself on land, because it's the slowest tier 5 carnivore in the game, or it's on land, it's the slowest carnivore in the game, period, regardless of tier. Sarco included. And that hurts it quite a bit, because it doesn't really have tools that let it finish a fight against its target's will. Tyranititan has Bleed and Endurance at its side. Rex has Fracture. Like, they have things that let them close out a fight, so to speak, or to dictate the flow of the fight. Spino really just has a lot of damage, and that's all it's got going for it. And even then, it's not really a lot of damage, it's just a tier 5 levels of damage. Like, it's a 5 slaughter, it's an Apex. It does Apex damage, which is a butt ton to anything smaller than an Apex. It actually loses the DPS race to Rex. Rex has better DPS, when you take buffs and armor into account. And of course it does better DPS than Titan, but Titan has Bleed, so, you know, the math gets a little bit more complicated there based on how long the fight lasts, whether Titan's using Feast or Hit and Run, other factors. Titan can't really face tank Spino, but it can definitely bleed out a Spino, assuming the Spino gets caught away from water, or overcommits to the fight. But here's the thing, and here's where my big problem with Spino right now is. My problem is that Alderaan tried to give it tools to mitigate its inability to secure a kill. They gave it Snapjaw, and we'll go over it real quick. Snapjaw, Head Slap. Wind up attack applying 1 stack of Sliced debuff, adding 2 stacks instead of 1 if you are wet. Sliced reduces the movement speed of the target by 2% and stacks up to 5 times, which means to say up to a maximum of 10%. Upon reaching 5 stacks of Sliced, the target gains immunity to any additional Sliced stacks for 5 minutes. Now, I should add a disclaimer to what that last sentence actually means. Sliced stacks each last 60 seconds, and they wear off at a rate of 1 stack every 60 seconds. So whenever you get up to 5 stacks of Sliced on a creature, what the 5-minute immunity actually means is you cannot apply more Sliced to that playable until they have cleared off all 5 of their current stacks. That's what that means. Now, the reason why this tool doesn't actually help Spino is because there is no creature in the game that has a speed low enough that a 10% reduction in that speed would allow Spino to go from being slower than it to being as fast or faster than it. The only creature that Snapjaw lets Spino gain distance on that it otherwise would not be able to is other Spinos. And this problem is made even worse by the fact that Snapjaw takes one of Spino's singular precious head slots. And the reason this is a problem is because Spino's best DPS output requires cycling between its basic bite and its basic claw attack. And if you're running an AoE build with Claw Slam, you have to be running the regular bite in order to have a decent DPS tool if you get stuck into a face tank. That's the problem. So, despite the fact that they tried to give Spino a tool to mitigate its low speed, the tool doesn't actually mitigate its low speed, because Spino is, unfortunately, too slow to take advantage of it. Now, is it useful in a group scenario where the Spino can get a couple slice stacks on something that maybe the rest of its group otherwise wouldn't be able to catch, and then they can chase it down and catch it? Sure. But how's the Spino getting close to that thing if it's in a group? Realistically. It's probably not. Sure, There is it. You. I know someone will bring this up if I don't. Sarco's maximum swim speed is only just barely faster than Spinos. So technically, Snapjaw would allow Spino to catch a Sarco in the water when it otherwise couldn't. Here's the problem. Sarco has asphyxiating snap, which drains 15% of the target's stamina and 30% of its oxygen with each bite. It doesn't matter if Spino's faster, because Spino can't sprint swim if it has no stamina. Meaning the Sarco will always be able to get away. Every time. If the Sarco has asphyxiating snap equipped, it will get away every single time. Just use a Deinonychus at that point? Exactly, Leeching Bat. If you need stacks of sliced in a group setting, just use Deinonychus. It is not worth wasting 5 slots on a Spino to apply that. Not at all. Now, some testing was done by some people in the Official Path Discord who cared about... This was back when the Spino TLC first released. And they did some testing modifying Spino's stats. And they found that increasing Spino's trot speed to 420 and its sprint speed up to 750 didn't really cause too many balancing issues. Now, this is allegedly. I haven't tested this myself. That could definitely help Snapjaw be more relevant, but the big thing that would help Snapjaw be more relevant is if Spino had two head slots. How do you deal with a Spino? Okay. The short answer, you walk away. Spino is too slow to catch you in every situation. Unless you're completely stupid and you run completely out of stamina right next to a Spinosaurus, or you walk right up to it, like, it doesn't matter. You can ignore it. You can completely ignore it. It's not fast enough. It's too sluggish. It doesn't have the stamina. Yeah. That's how you deal with it. If you're big and you want to fight it, you tail ride it. Every terrestrial creature, most every terrestrial creature that has a sizable tail from 3 slots up to 5 slots have what's called, they have knockback on their tail attack, which is used to prevent things from staying on their backside and, stop them from essentially just sticking to their butt and chewing their thighs until they die, right? Spino's tail attack, unfortunately, does not have knockback while it is on land. Now, this isn't really a big issue if it's fighting things smaller than it, because it's to compensate for the lack of knockback, it does a butt ton of damage. That was coming from Rockfall. We'll head that way. We're gonna take the saltwater route because I want to take a little bit of a scenic route. So against smaller things, Spino's tail attack hits like a truck, and you really don't want to even bother approaching it. But if you're something like a T-Rex or a Tyranotitan, then if you can get behind the Spino and stay there, you just kind of win, unless it gets to water to get away from you. Which is less of an issue if you're on a T-Rex, because you can just bone break it, and it can't move. Now, that's not to say that it's easy to get a tail ride on a Spino, because a Spino player that knows how to move properly can mostly mitigate that issue. So at that point, it comes down to what terrain did you catch it in? Like, did you catch it far away from water? Your odds are pretty good, right? Because it can't take advantage of any of its water-based buffs, and it doesn't have anywhere to escape to. It has to kill you to get away. Because, again, slow and sluggish. It has no choice other than to fight. However, if it's right next to the water, which is where I prefer to fight, Then if you do manage to get a tail ride on it, then what the Spino can do is it can quickly dive into the deep end of the water and use its superior water mobility to reset the engagement and position itself in such a way that you are once again in front of it, so you can't get a tail ride on it. What's even worse is sometimes the Spino can be in the deep end of the water and still hit you with its tail if you're close enough to the shore, and it will knock you back, giving it even more breathing room and space to reset, take a breather, and get back in and try to face tank you to death. Because Spino, being as tanky as it is, as compensation for being slow, will 9 times out of 10 win a face tank. The only instance it will lose a face tank is against another Spino that's running a heavier armor build than you, or gets the first hit, or both, or it'll lose a face tank to a buffed up Rex. About 70% of the time it will lose. Again, depending on who gets the first hit and how many headshots are traded between the two. Because that headshot multiplier can be super important in that matchup. Though Rex really doesn't want to be face tanking Spino, it's actually way better off trying to side ride it. Because then Rex can take advantage of its strong legs passive, where it gets 25% damage reduction on against attacks that hit it on the legs. Which, if the Rex was attempting to side ride the Spino and kind of bite into its back and its thigh, the Spino would be forced to also land bites on the back and thigh of the Rex, and so the Rex would get to benefit from some additional damage reduction that way. And the 25% damage reduction is more impactful than the 20% damage increase from headshot multiplier. So it will always be mathematically better for the Rex to try and achieve a side ride than to face tank directly. Back to Spino balancing talk. Talking about Spino not having a second head slot. This is actually true of all of its attack-related ability columns. It doesn't have a second claw slot, doesn't have a second tail slot, and unfortunately what that means is that Spino can't take advantage of its more niche abilities very well. If it wants to equip a niche ability, it has to forego being able to generally handle things in favor of specializing in a certain area, but again, because Spino's too slow to be able to to be able to force engagements, and because it's slow enough that it requires consent from the opposing party pretty much every time in order to get a fight, Spino won't always get to take advantage of those particularly strong effects, because it might not get to pick the situation. It might not end up in a fight where that ability performs the best. Take Claw Slam, for example. Anytime I see another Spino running Claw Slam, I think it's a free kill. Like, the hit that they take to their overall DPS in favor of the AoE potential, like the AoE potential and the burst damage against mid tiers can be useful at times. I won't deny that. It's really good against mid tiers and low tiers. Like, it's fantastic against them. It's really good against pouncers. It's all that stuff. It's terrible against apexes. If Spino gets into a fight with another apex and it tries using Claw Slam, that thing is cooked. 100% cooked. It will no longer be able to win the face tank. It'll lose. If it's running Undertow, same story. It can't protect its backside because the knockback isn't significant enough against tier 5s to get them off of it. The cooldowns are too long. And it's only against mid tiers in the water, which Spino's already good against mid tiers in the water. Oh lordy. Okay, hold on. We have to run from that thing. That thing is like raid boss. You gotta get away from that. Okay. Hopefully we get away from it for good by getting to this side of the water. Maybe that'll give us distance enough. And for good measure, we're just gonna get a little bit further inland. Yeah, screw those little bastards. We're good. Spino's got decent stamina regeneration when it's wet on land. With all of that Spino balance talk out of the way, I think at this point it's probably a good time for me to talk about my build and sort of explain my thoughts behind it and give you guys an idea of why I run certain things and why I don't run other things. So while my Spino is munching on this snake, regular bite, waterborne, claw attack, fisher diet, streamlined, tide strider, sweep, and rallying call. Now, because I'm more of a beachcomber build and I like a hybrid setup between land and water, I run waterborne because the 10% extra armor is very helpful. 15% increased stamina recovery while swimming. I don't really notice it that much, but more stamina on Spino is almost always better. But the big thing here is that 3 times acceleration. That's the difference between Spino taking 6 years to get to top speed and being able to instantly get to top speed. So as far as denying tail rides and ensuring Spino's ability to maintain control when it's circling another apex, trying to land hits, that acceleration is huge. It's so important to Spino's ability to prevent things from getting behind it. Is there any benefit to getting hyper carnivore on something that has Fisher by default? One. It drains food slower. But if you care about a diet that drains food slower, just go scavenger. In every single world, I think it is always better to run Fisher diet on a semi-aquatic than to not. Because if you don't run Fisher diet, you're denying yourself the opportunity to use fish buffs. And fish buffs are so important. When you're playing a semi-aquatic, it's critical that you take advantage of them at every opportunity. It can sometimes be the difference between life and death. I'm not kidding. Oftentimes, a Spino versus Spino fight can be decided by who has an armor turtle buff and who doesn't, right? Like, don't ever sleep on the fish buffs. They're so important. The moderate food drain in that instance is almost always beneficial, because the faster your food drains, the quicker you can apply the next buff. Especially with how bountiful food, availability is for semi-aquatics, I really see no reason to run hypercarnivore. I only bought it on my Spino because I had marks to spare, and I figured I should have it unlocked in the event that they do some diet changes down the road. That's the only reason. I never equip it. I never even consider it. I'll switch to scavenger if I'm nesting people in. Just so that way I'm not overlapping food necessities with the people I'm nesting in. It lets me sort of scavenge off of the scrap quest items that they don't need, while they can go catch their fish, hunt their critters, what have you, to not only get their blue quests, but also to get their food. But that's really the only time. Or I'll switch to it if I'm trying to top my nest's food off and there's bones and clamshells near my nest, because I can regurgitate the food I get from scavenged stuff into the nest and then switch back to Fisher, and my nested dinos can still eat out of it, even if they don't have scavenger diet. It lets me convert scavenger food into universal food for babies and stuff, effectively, is what I'm trying to say. So talking spinal balance, again, like if I were to change anything about it, for my build specifically, my setup, I have regular bite, regular claw, in order to give myself optimal DPS. And this is so that way I can ensure that no matter what, I always have the best chance of winning my ones against other apexes as possible, because other apexes are the most likely to catch me with my pants down. But not only that, they're the most likely fights that I'm going to get as a solo, right? If I see another solo apex, they're probably going to be more willing to fight me than like a solo dasp or a pair of dasps, right? Waterborne for the acceleration and the armor, 2 super huge buffs. The stamina recovery in water is nice, but not necessary. Tide Strider for the extra stamina recovery on land, based on wetness amount, is important. It really is. Stamina on Spino is super important because it burns through it so fast, and you really need it to make sure that you can have the movement you need when you need it in a fight. Sweep, the lower cooldown on Sweep is good enough that I feel comfortable running it instead of Undertow on land, because the damage on it's super good. Fast cooldown means that I have more opportunities to take advantage of it, and there's smaller punish windows for other creatures that are trying to challenge me on land. If they're trying to bait out my tail attack to get in for damage, the windows are for that are smaller. Less opportunities, more likely to catch them making a mistake. And additionally, as a solo, the added knockback effect in the water is so much more important than the suction effect on Undertow, because controlling spacing in the water as a solo Spinosaurus is paramount. Making sure you don't get surrounded from all angles, making sure you don't get dogpiled, making sure you can keep keep other Spinos like at tail's length, right? You want to be trading your tail hits into their face hits, because they might be running lunging snap, which does a lot of damage, but if you can force them to bite you on the tail while also landing a headshot on them with your sweep, gains. Straight gains. Obviously the 15-second cooldown change in water really hurts Sweep, but it's still best in slot as far as I'm concerned when it comes to Spino's tail slot. And of course the reason I run regular claw attack instead of claw slam is because majority of the time I'm fighting other big things, and if I am fighting mid-tiers, I'm usually good enough about my movement that like I can still land hits on them with the regular claw attack. I don't need the AoE to carry for me. Now, I think the ability I need to explain the most here is Streamlined, because as you can see, I'm running the armor subspecies instead of the swim subspecies, and I need to explain this. I'm running Streamlined because the added speed in water makes a world of difference in fights against other Spinos that are running Streamlined. In almost any environment, if there is an option to increase your speed, it is the best choice to make, because of the arms race, right? If I am running an ability that doesn't increase my speed, and another Spino is running an ability that does increase its speed, then what that allows that Spino to do is it gives it the option to choose whether or not it wants to engage me, and it takes that choice away from me. And the same goes for when it wants to leave the engagement. If it wants to get away, it can get away, regardless of if I want it to or not, because it's faster than me. Additionally, as a solo, and because of the combat healing changes, that 50% health recovery while diving is nothing to sneeze at. It's really important. Being able to get my maximum heal rate while staying mobile, staying on the move, staying on my toes, and doing what I can to shift around the map and evade mega packs, that is such a more efficient and safe use of my time than trying to find a spot to lay down for 10 minutes after a hard fight. Because I'll tell you, with an Arapaima buff, it takes about 10 minutes for Spino to heal from near death to full. And that's with an Arapaima buff. Laying down. It's bad. It's really slow. It takes forever. So the less time I spend laying down and being vulnerable, the better. And I think that I already don't want to be fighting Rexes when they're buffed up, so Bright Sail doesn't really do me any favors, because it only helps me lose slightly less hard in a fight where I would already be losing, and I don't need it to win the face tank against Titan. So why would I run it? Like, the one matchup where I need the armor, I still lose. And the matchup where armor doesn't matter because of bleed ignoring armor, I don't need the armor, obviously, because bleed ignores it, and I already out-trade a Titan. So I think Bright Sail's a trap. People see armor go up and they think, ooh, this is really good, and they don't really consider the other they don't consider other factors, like there's also the fact that because of combat healing, and because Streamlined increases your healing while diving, if you're running an armor build, Streamlined can actually indefinitely increase your effective hit points for a fight because it accelerates your healing, which healing is made more effective by higher armor values, which is why I run the armor subspecies. So over the course of a long engagement, the benefit to your effective hit points from Streamlined actually ends up in more scenarios outpacing what you'd get from Bright Sail. The only situation where it doesn't work, where Bright Sail would, is if you're up against bleed. But realistically, like, if you're getting bled out, then, if you're getting bled out and you're losing, you're probably also outnumbered, because Duck can't face tank Spino, Titan can't face tank Spino. What is that? Suko and Aloe definitely can't face tank Spino. So really your biggest concern at this point, like on my build specifically, the biggest struggle I have is with conch groups. Groups of conchas. Specifically bleeder conchas running Bloodthirsty. It's just so much bleed, and the armor isn't doing any favors there because Bright Sail, like the conchs don't care about damage, they care about the bleed. The bleed is how they're doing all their damage. So if you go up against a group of conchas, your best hope is to just go into the water and pray they're not semi-aquatics. I have been yapping a lot, and chat has been very quiet. So I hope that means that you were all listening very intently to me babble on about my favorite dinosaur and what I think needs improving on it. I promise I'm still reading chat. So, y'all are welcome to, I'm like your podcast, it's fine? Okay, yeah, I mean, I guess that's fair. I do think that when the overhaul to the questing system rolls around, depending on what they do with it, and when they, of course, when they add like the PvE content, like the AI dinos and stuff, Spino could find itself a pretty solid niche that the other Apexes can't occupy. Which would be fantastic. I would really love for that to happen to Spino. You're just cooking in the background? That's fine. I'll let you cook. We're going to check Hot Springs one more time. And if that doesn't pan out, then we're going to cross over to the south side of the map, and we're going to go to Sharptooth. You've also heard this entire rant before, so you know what I'm saying already? Yes, Frog, you have heard this rant before. Oh, bacon, eggs, and chips? Don't make me hungry, dude. How dare you? How dare you? Alright, I don't want to get to half hunger, so we're gonna try to eat this. Here we go. I want to make sure my health recovery is topped up as good as it can get. Too late? Yeah, you're right, Leeching Bat. It is too late. I am hungry. Speaking of hungry, I do have this apple turnover pastry sitting right next to me that I haven't gotten to dig into yet. Rippy! Welcome to the stream, buddy. Welcome. It's good to see ya. Man, I love graphic design is my passion. I have been called to help design a thumbnail for a Roblox racing game. Also, hi. Hey, that's awesome, Rippy. I'm happy for you. Get that bread, gamer. Pursue what you love. I'm excited. Glad you're finding opportunities. It's raining now. Rippy, you just missed my entire Spino rant. I spent probably a good 30 minutes talking about Spino's current ability kit, situation inside of the current design space of the game, and what I think needs changing. So if you want to go back and hear all of that, you'll probably have to rewind. Or you can always just, like, you know, play it later and listen in. But if you guys would like, I could also probably later down the line go back through this stream and cut out my talking points and mash it into a discussion video, so people that specifically want to hear that can go listen to that. What do you guys think about that? You think that's a good idea? Or you think it's not worth the effort? It's not something I'd be able to release this week. I will say that. I'd have to fiddle with it for a while. So if I did start working on it this week, I probably wouldn't be able to release it till next week. Oh. Fall damage. Alright, here we go, chat. Here we go. Chat, that is how you fucking do it right there. That's how you fucking do it. Oh, that got my heart pounding. Holy moly. Whew. Oh. My arms are shaking, chat. Oh my god. I felt good about that one, chat. I felt real good about that one. Bro hit me twice? Yeah. Yeah. Yup. That is probably going to be our stream highlight for tomorrow's upload. That's probably going to be the one. Holy. Dude, that Rex didn't have a choice either. The knockback from that sweep, forcing it to swim longer, just, I feel like it ate just that little bit of extra stam that I needed. And had been sprinting, man. He was not getting away from that. Chat, let that be a lesson to you on why you do not sprint around the map when you play in Apex. Don't do it. Don't fucking do it. Bad idea. That is what will happen. What I just did to that Rex, that's what'll happen to you if you go sprinting around the map like a maniac. Unreal. What's worse, Leeching Bat, is that was an albino Rex. That was an albino. That's what makes that worse. Chat, I am going to try and turn this trophy in at the, you know what, we'll go out here. We'll go to this home cave. I don't want to bother walking through DP. We'll go out to this home cave, and then we'll whip back around, and we'll swim into Sharptooth. That's what we'll do. Why do they sprint everywhere? Because they usually have their homies that they can call in for backup. Nobody expects the Spino Inquisition. Chat, how do we feel about going to Sharptooth Marsh? Sure? Okay. Alright, so something I wanted to mention about the reason I run this kit on Spino. That fight that we just had perfectly demonstrates is that by taking the knockback off of sweep, what Alderaan effectively allowed Spino to do is use the old old Spino kit. I'm talking tail attack before they gave it knockback. I'm talking back when it was used as a weapon, right? Like a real weapon, okay? All these other dinos gotta play by tail attack having nerfed damage and knockback utility, right? Not Spino. This tail's a fucking monster. So when you play Spino, you play old school Spino. And this is why I run this build, because I am an old school Spino main, okay? I'm not quite charged by old school, but I'm old school. And so this build feels so natural to me. I don't have to worry about new abilities. The only thing I have to worry about is the slightly longer cooldown on sweep. The tail attack, right? Which is now called sweep. That's all I gotta worry about, chat. Otherwise, I just play this damn thing the same way I've been playing it for years. Everybody else, when a TLC comes out, they gotta relearn their animal. Gotta relearn their playable, you know, gotta learn the new best thing, the new meta. Spino is just same old Spino, and I fucking love it for that. I love it, chat. It's why I still play it. It's why I love it. Spino didn't change. And it didn't need to. Yeah, Spino gets to play old school rules. And everybody else has to play by the new rules. Exactly. So sorry about about earlier, your phone died. That's okay, Nostalgia. I remember your question. Oh, you asked if I had experienced any bugs, or if I'd experienced a bug with Claw Slam. I asked you what bug you were referring to specifically, because if you tell me what you're dealing with, I might be able to help you solve the issue, because I have a suspicion that it's not actually a bug, and that it's a feature that you're misunderstanding. But I need you to tell me what's going on with it, so that way I can know better. Also, welcome back, by the way. Happy you decided to jump back in. Gonna get that quick armor buff in case we run into any semi-aquatics passing through Sharptooth and its adjoining rivers. This is a high traffic area. Dead middle of the map, reaches from the west side to the east side. So we might run into some folks. Anyway, anytime that you want to clarify on the situation with Claw Slam that you're referring to, Nostalgia, I'll happily do my best to help. Total shock when everything went dark on you? Yep. I feel that. I've had that happen to me before. My phone's got an old as dirt battery. If I'm actively using it, it barely lasts an hour on a full charge. Well, chat. Oh! My eyes do not deceive me. We have hit a new personal record for concurrent viewers, chat. We are at 13. Huge thank you to all of you who decided to show up and or stick around. I hope you stick around for a little bit longer, because we're going to try and get some more fights in. We've bagged 2 Sarcos and a Rex already. We're going to ignore the fact that it was probably the same Sarco twice. We're going to keep on rolling. Okay, it wasn't probably the same Sarco twice, it was definitely the same Sarco twice, but that's besides the point. I'm hearing a little bit of a deep rumble in my right ear. I think I'm catching the very edge of some broadcast calls coming from GP. So, nothing to worry about just yet. If you go back and watch the clip of me fighting that Rex, talking back on old school Spino rules, you will notice that I use my tail attack at certain points when trying to circle back behind him. And that's because I'm trying to get a hit zone registry on his torso and his head with sweep in order to make optimal use of my damage output based on my positioning. And that's the real strength of sweep not having knockback, is its ability to do stuff like that, where even when I'm running back behind the Rex and circling around to its rear, I can still hit it in the face for a butt ton of damage. Forgot this was a dead end, this particular little bay, so we're gonna jiggy on over here. It was more like it. We're going to check above water every now and again, just in case we can catch somebody else trying to cross a waterway. I mean, it's like, it's right here, chat. Like, why wouldn't I do it? I'm a greedy fucking dragon. I want my marks. I'm trying to unlock that 3rd room in my home cave, okay? Don't judge me. Judging me hard? How dare you? How dare you, leeching that? It's not fair. Come here, you big, ugly, overgrown... There we go. Just in case. It's just precautionary. "20-ish minutes behind, didn't even notice until now, my bad, I'll ask my question now." Perfect! Perfect nostalgia. I'm ready for it. Taneski, do you just keep the same build no matter the circumstance? With my Spino, yes. But that's mainly because the build I've gone for is as much of a generalist as possible. I want it to be usable in every situation, kind of like a jack-of-all-trades, master-of-none situation. I don't ever want to get caught in a situation where I have a build equipped that's suboptimal, or like really terrible for that situation. So this is the build I run on my Spino. I don't ever run anything else. I will test things if they drop a balance patch and like change cooldowns or damage values or stuff. And I'll do that as a way to like see if I do feel like changing is worth it. But no, I usually just stick to my bread and butter. I don't like changing my abilities too often because I like that my abilities are always the same because I develop a muscle memory with it. So I don't really have to think too hard about it. I don't have to worry about which ability I have equipped or get confused and think I have Claw Slam when actually I just have Claw Attack or anything like that. Crocodile? Please tell me it's not the same one. Chat, it's the same one. Chat, we're gonna do it. Oh, it's not the same one. Doesn't have the red. Ooh, that was smart. That was the smart. Okay, this is definitely not the same croc. We got it, chat. You would have Claw Slam completely... You'd have to be completely still for it to work? Interesting. Did you try using it while trotting instead of just like sprinting? Because if it's disabled while sprinting, I'm pretty sure that's a feature. I'm pretty sure you have to slow down to use it. And by slow down, I mean move at your regular like trot speed. And to be clear, this is a sprint, this is a trot, this is a walk. So if you can only activate it while trotting or walking, and you can't activate it while sprinting, that is definitely a feature and not a bug. That is how they intended for it to function. Oh, I needed to get fresh water. Silly me, I forgot to take a drink. To double back to your question, Taneski, regarding whether or not I use the same build, I will say that as it stands, Spino is the only playable that I'm on consistently, where I don't change my build. Most other playables have enough variety and viability amongst their kit that I feel comfortable swapping back and forth. Like, take Suko as an example. I'll oftentimes switch between a dry and a wet build. You'd have to be completely still. That's probably a bug nostalgia. I would recommend checking Alderon's bug reports to see if somebody else has reported something similar, and if they haven't, you should file a bug report because you might be able to get a bug tracker skin out of it. because you are supposed to be able to use Claw Slam while walking and trotting. Being able to move while activating it is part of the appeal. So if it's not working that way, then it's definitely bugged. That's what you thought too? Yep. Yep. That's a safe bet. Well, chat. That's 3 Sarcos. I am not beating the Croc Killer allegations today. That's for sure. Okay, I've already gone up this way today. So, since we've doubled back to Sharptooth, which is where we began the stream, okay, I'm gonna be real with y'all, chat. I am not going to GP. I like playing this game with the intention of trying to survive as my win condition, and going to GP would be suicidal. So, I'm thinking... I don't want to cut through here, because I would have to take too much of a detour through Green Hills for my liking. But I also don't want to go over here. But I kind of want to come down here. So I think what we'll do is we'll take a scenic route. Go to GP or GV. You're insane. I am not doing that. I'm sorry. That's... no. This is the solo experience, and I'm trying to reflect what, like... what you should be doing as a solo. Savannah, we were just in Savannah! I'm not going back. We're gonna go to White Cliffs. L streamer? Okay. L viewer. How about that, Frogro? Fine, fine. Yeah, okay. Yeah. We're gonna go to White Cliffs. Then we'll do Triad and Young Grove, Darkwoods Whistling, and we'll do that. We'll do a little bit of coastal prowling. Because that's what we're good at, so that's what we're gonna do. I think the pot is calling the kettle black. What do y'all think? That's what I think. You know I have to take the shots, Frogro. That's our working relationship, right? Is we just constantly shit talk each other. Do I have Discord? As a matter of fact, nostalgia, I do, but also okay, I'm really bad at fighting these things. Yikes. I took more damage from that than I wanted to, but we should be okay. Sorry, y'all. I stopped because I heard footsteps. Do y'all think there's something here? I think there's something here, chat. We're gonna whip around to the north side. Get 'em, Tanny. Yes, Nostalgia, I do have a Discord. More alpha critters. Wow. Alright, chat, I think the wind played a prank on me. Okay, you know what, we're leaving. Too many alpha critters. We are getting the hell out of Dodge. I don't think I'm going to be able to hear any footsteps with all this wind. I do like that they made this weather change, admittedly. It makes the world feel a bit more dynamic. Environmental shifts, changing the way you approach engagements. Coward, I don't need food. Why would I fight them? I'd rather leave them for someone else to deal with. Someone else can die to them. I don't care. Let them take a bunch of damage from it. Not me. Not me. I will say, Nostalgia, I don't have a Discord server for my channel at the moment. I just don't really feel like that's a good idea for me right now. Tonsky, you want to see what build I have? Oh yeah, absolutely. I've got time right now. I showed it to chat earlier. I run Regular Bite, Waterborne, Claw Attack, Fisher Diet, Streamlined, Tide Strider, Sweep, and Rallying Call. Oh, a community server? I might make one, but those things are quite a bit of work, because, like, I'm a bit small, so I'd have to moderate it or find people willing to moderate it, and that can be a challenge. Yeah, no problem, Tonsky. Anytime. And if you want to know, like, if you have any questions on why I'm running certain things instead of others, like, fire away. I'm more than happy to explain. I love build talk. It's one of my favorite things about Path is the build variety. One of my biggest criticisms is whenever a creature has fake build variety, in that, like, there are other abilities, but realistically there's only one correct build. That pisses me off to no end. Because it's more of an illusion of choice at that point. Well, hey look! Fate has spoken. The game even wants us to go to White Cliffs. Yeah, Nostalgia. I don't have a community Discord, however, I do make a post on my communities page on my channel pretty much every day. Usually it's like a schedule update notification or like a poll regarding next stream, or, you know, just general like updates and information that maybe I feel like sharing with you guys, but I don't feel like waiting until the next stream to share it. So, and I'm very active in my comments sections, so there will be no shortage of interactions. We found a Spino, and it appears to be by itself, y'all. Let's see if we can... I know you're thinking that we're gonna be friends, buddy, but we ain't gonna be friends. If I can bag a Spino tonight, I'm going to. Fight back! Fight back! Oh yeah. Ooh, boy's got lunch equipped. Okay. Let's see how much stam you got. I know you're armor subspecies. You can't have much more than me. Went back, turned notifications to all. You know what? Thank you, Nostalgia. I appreciate that. I'm gonna let you in on a secret, chat. He's gonna get tired before we do. He might be getting distance with that lunge, but he's chewing through way too much stam doing that. I'm following underneath because I'm keeping an eye out for any potential reinforcements he may have coming, or maybe luring me towards. Because that's going to be the deciding factor on whether or not I continue this chase. It's entirely possible he's got an ambush waiting for me, but I doubt it. Bro does not seem interested. We got it, chat. No trophy, because trophy cooldown. But we got it. Bro had no choice but to turn around when he was about out of stam. He knew he wasn't going to be able to run away. But he tried. He tried. Damn, we are getting lots of activity tonight. I'm loving this. This is my element, y'all. This right here. The hunt. This is why I like playing solo. The hunts actually feel like rewarding, you know, when I can say I did that. You know, it's my accomplishment. I've committed Spinocide. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, Goose. Spinos are like I have committed so much Spino on Spino violence. You wouldn't even believe it. I have so many Sharp Claw trophies on this Spino, and I have so many more on my Spino from like the community server I used to play on. It's ridiculous. Of course, appreciate you helping me out and being patient. Nice job on the W. Thank you, Nostalgia. Thank you for that. And also, absolutely, like I have no reason to be impatient with chat. Like, why would I do that? Right? Should see the trophies on my nest. Well, my old nest location. My nest, I used to have it built and piled my Sharp Claws on top of it. I'll be punished for my crimes in the next stream. Bro, I'm already getting punished. You people made me... You voted me into growing Latin. Is that not punishment enough? I threw it on the poll for the sake of fairness. I wanted a nice spread of the different slot sizes. I wanted one out of each. I didn't add a tier 4 to the list because I'd already grown a Sarco, I'd already grown a Suko. You people voted Latin. 7 out of 10 votes. Can you believe that, chat? 7 out of 10 votes. They told me to grow a Latin. I don't get it. I don't get the appeal. But I guess we're gonna find out what it's all about, right? I guess we'll find out. You're getting the belt on your Latin when you nest me? Oh, Lord. Goose, remind me to give you my Alderaan ID before the stream's over so you can send me a friend request so that way we already have each other added for Wednesday's stream. I mean, I'm going to be going for, you know, probably another hour and a half or so. So, like, it's going to be a minute. But. The coward's Trudon. Frog gonna grow a hat's just to bully us? Pfft, F off. I don't need that in my life. You know what? We're gonna go up to the freshwater at Triad. We're gonna go up to the lake on the 2nd level. And that's what we're gonna do. I've been swimming a lot this stream. We're gonna do a little bit of walking. As much as I like the ocean view, you know, we should take a nice little stroll. Also, nostalgia. If you think that W on that Spino was good, you should check out the Rex fight. Holy moly. Absolutely no diff that guy. It's probably going to be what I upload as my my highlight clip when I do my upload tomorrow. I didn't know chat was going to start a sing-along. Oh, also, I can actually tell you, chat, I can tell you where my Spino's current scars are from. So, these gashes on my torso right here, okay, hold on. 1 second. Okay, I'm gonna keep my ears out, but I'm gonna talk. Yeah, I didn't post it, but when the stream's over, so tomorrow, usually what I do is I have my streams spaced out by a day, with the exception of Wednesday, Thursday. Those days I'm going to be streaming back to back, but Friday, so like, it's Monday today, so tomorrow on Tuesday, I'm gonna like go, when I get home from work, I'm gonna go through tonight's stream, and I'm gonna pick the best fight that we had over the stream, and I'm gonna clip it and upload it as a standalone video. And assuming I don't get a better fight this stream, it's probably going to be the Rex clip. Alright. We're good to keep moving. There is also there's also a Rex clip in my debut stream highlight video, which should be on the front page of my channel. At least I know it is for people who aren't subscribed. I don't know if it is for people who are subscribed. It might be, my Stega clip might be the the one, or my clip of me on my stego fighting an aloe might be the one that you see. But if you go to my videos, my debut stream highlight, I fought a Rex on my Spino, along with some other shenanigans that happened. It's about, the Rex fight happens within like the first 3 to 5 minutes, so like you can find that pretty quick. But the rest of the clip's pretty entertaining too, but you can always go back and watch that later. You'll definitely watch. I appreciate that. That's huge. Anytime I can get people to watch my clips, huge W. Anyway, I was talking about my Spino scars. So these scars on my right side here are, along with the... So the scars on the right are from a duel I had with an Eotrike on the beaches of Burned Forest. And these gashes on the left side of my Spino's neck are from a fight I had with an albino Dinocyrus over in Savannah Grasslands. I didn't record them, unfortunately, and they weren't streamed, but that's where those scars came from. So my current kill streak on this Spino's life is an Eo, a Dinocyrus, 3 Sarcos, a Rex, technically 2 Rexes. Yeah, 2 Rexes, because the Rex from the last, my debut stream. Yeah. So a Rex, Eo, Duck, 3 Sarcos, another Rex, and now a Spino. I think that's pretty good. Do you recommend me nesting you in on Latin or adopting you on something else? Honestly, Goose, I think the Latin nesting experience will probably be best. Just because we'll be raptor packing from the start, and I think that's kind of the experience I want to try and understand when I grow this Latin, is I want to understand the raptor mindset and the raptor gameplay experience. 8 kills? Yeah. And those were all solo. All of those were solo nostalgia. And before that, I had gotten into a fight with a mega pack in Savannah Grass on my Spino's last life before it died. I got into a fight against a mega pack in Savannah Grasslands of an Aloe, 2 Sucos, a Spino, a subadult Spino, really, and a Sarco, and I managed to kill their Suco and their Sarco, or one of their Sucos and their Sarco. I meatballed the other Suco, and I made it to the home cave with a trophy. Unfortunately, that particular streak was ended when I encountered a mega mix pack in Burned Forest of 3 Kylokias, a fully grown albino Spino, a Sarcosuchus, and an Anodontosaurus. And they didn't come at me all at once. They kind of trickled in as they needed support. So like at first it was just 2 Kais caught me in one of the bays over like it was this spot of water right here. There's actually a sandbar that stretches from this outcropping in Burned Forest over to ocean pillars that you have to walk across to get to deeper waters. And so it was me and 2 Kais kind of fighting in this pool of salt water. And then the 3rd Kai showed up, and then the Spino showed up, and so I moved onto the beach where the Kais couldn't get to me, and I could fight the Spino one-on-one. And the Spino was really bad. I was at 3/4 health when it engaged me, and I was able to scare it into the water not once, not twice, but 3 times. And that was when they brought the Sarco and the Ano, and the Sarco was going to be really annoying because it was if I did get in the water again, it was going to be able to drain my stam and pin me in place where the Kais could just jump me. And the Anno that they were bringing up was a problem because the Anno could use Fracture to pin me in place, at which point the Spino and the Sarco could get on land and jump me. So when I saw the Anno coming up, the Spino got overly zealous, came out of the water, and I decided that trying to get the Spino dead as like my last hurrah was probably my best bet. I got it within... I watched back on my replay file. I got it within one hit of death before it knocked me off of it. And by that point, I'd taken so much damage from the Kais that I was on death scars. I got out of the water. Yeah, again, on death scars, get out of the water, Sarco comes after me, and I break its ankles, get it in front of me, and I get that sucker to like a third of its health, and it runs back into the water, and then it's just me and the Anno. And I got that Anno below half before it finally downed me. So I didn't get any kills, but I am damn proud of how I performed in that fight. Damn proud of it. Especially since I'd gotten those Kais to like half HP before the rest of their crew showed up, and I had to stop engaging them. It was like a 15-minute standoff, man. It was something. Made me feel like a raid boss. And for that fight in particular, I have the receipts. I have the replay file. So if anybody tries to call cap on me, I can pull that shit up. You know what? The water's right there. I'm gonna go for the water. We're gonna head down to Young Grove, see what's going on over there. We might catch somebody headed to GP. And if we do catch someone headed to GP, and we kill them fast enough, they might not be able to bring reinforcements in, which would be huge. And can I just say, we have maintained double-digit concurrent viewership for probably, I want to say, an hour at this point. That's a huge W. Thank you, chat. I appreciate every single one of you that's here. It's the third time I've said that this stream. I don't care. I will say it as many times as I feel I need to. I wouldn't be doing this if you guys weren't here. So thank you. All right. I gotta admit though, that finding that other Spino out in the wild like that's pretty unusual. I don't often find other people playing on Spinosaurus solo. Sometimes you feel like you're blind in this game. 2 separate occasions you missed full-grown Sukkos walking right in front of you. Second time it wasn't even crouched. I mean, no offense, Goose, but are you deaf too? Because, like, 4 Slaughter's got heavy, heavy footsteps, my man. Heavy footsteps. Like, there ain't no way you're missing that, right? Right? Alright, chat, we have arrived in Young Grove. Left headphone doesn't work? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that'd do it. Goose, I'm telling you, you gotta get a new headset, man. You gotta invest in that. Even if it's just a cheap one, like, having the directional audio is so important. So important. Information, like people don't realize how important information is in this game when it comes to situational analysis and determining whether or not you need to, like, vacate the premises. Like, I catch way too many people walking around completely oblivious, like they can't hear anything because the player on the other side of that screen's got background music going or something, right? They got their Spotify on, and they just have no idea that I'm there. And, like, I'm on something big, and I get the drop on them when I absolutely should not have, right? Like, it just happens too often. And I get that there's a lot of people that don't take this game that seriously, but majority of the time, these are the same people that'll, like, go onto the Reddit, like the subreddit, and complain about getting KOS'd, right? And they'll complain about getting killed all the time, and it's like, well, dude, are you paying attention? Like, are you actually immersing yourself in the game at the level that you need to not get yourself into really bad situations? Or are you just, like, blaring, like, Freebird and running into GP nonstop, right? You somehow haven't died to that yet? Yeah, it's by sheer luck, Goose. It's by sheer luck. Alright. I think this is probably the most dangerous area that we're going to today. You know, no, I take that back. Hunter's Thicket was the most dangerous POI we went to today. But Young Grove, this Young Grove Darkwoods stretch of river, saltwater river, is probably a close second. Leeching Bat said people sprint too fucking much, so they are usually also giving away their location on top of not paying attention. Yep. True. So not only are they forfeiting access to the information of where other people are and how many other people might be around them, but they're actively broadcasting their location to anyone that might be paying attention nearby. And that's how they get tracked down and killed. You gotta understand, hunts don't start when the first bite attack is thrown. Hunts start with the first footstep that's heard. There are so many important factors that go into a fight that aren't just the actual in-the-moment combat. Oftentimes a fight is won or lost based on your awareness and your positioning when things do eventually hit the fan. That's the most important thing. Oh. There's a Serrato. Well, don't mind if I just walk up here and start collecting pine cones. That's right. Move along, little man. You're no threat to me. I ain't gonna try and chase you down. That'd be really stupid. And that's another thing. When you're out and about and you're hunting, and you're on something big, you really gotta pick your targets. You know, like if you run up on a 2 slaughter, just leave it alone. Like if it's by itself, okay? I know earlier this stream I bugged a pair of Achillobators. I know I did that. I know I asked for that smoke, but I asked for it because there were 2 of them, and they were building a nest, and I figured I could probably goad them into screwing up by pissing them off and breaking their nest. And you know what? It ended up in a draw. But at least we got some content out of it, right? That's what matters. It's the only thing that matters, chat. It's content. Content to feed you dirty gremlins. You hungry, hungry hippos. So starved. So starved for good Path of Titans content. So sick of all of the clickbait velocity update videos. Ooh, Arapaima. Hell yeah. You know what? I ain't even gonna bother with the Lakeweed quest. We are just going to double back. And we're gonna head over around the southern tip of Darkwoods, and we're gonna go check out Whistling. Okay, I know I just threw shade at Velocity, but like, I also watch his videos, so like, don't think I'm just hating. I appreciate his videos about like game updates and stuff. How many people that play solo do you think complain about the game being not solo friendly? Are people that don't pay even slightest bit of attention or aren't playing carefully? That's a great question. I definitely, okay, I don't want to like, okay, my gut instinct is to do another hashtag Zilla hot take and say they're all babies and they need to stop whining. But we're mature adults here. So we're gonna give the more mature take. I think mega packs are skewing the experience of solos a bit too much, and that's why people think that the solo experience is bad, because of mega packs and player distribution issues. You know what, chat? What we're gonna do is we're gonna jump into the Whistling home cave, and we're gonna server hop since this one resets in an hour. Player count's probably gonna start dropping, so unless we get another fight in on the way there, we're gonna have to wait till we get to the next server. But back to Leeching Bat's question, I think that there's a lot of ignorance around how you need to play solo. Like, take what I'm doing, for example, right? Like, I'm kind of prowling around the outskirts of the map, occasionally weaving close to hotspots, kind of sniffing around for an opportunity. What if I check Red Island next server? That's a great idea, Honk. I'll do that. We'll check Red Island next server. I like that idea. Red Island is a beautiful freshwater pond. It's one of my favorite locations in the entire map. Aesthetically, like, I love that POI. Like, I would say, like, if people are saying the solo experience is bad in this, I would point them to this stream and be like, are you sure? You sure it's a bad time? Or are you just looking in the wrong places? Right? Or are your expectations just not set properly? Right? Like, a lot of people that played solo Apexes were really mad about the rebalancing that came with the Spino TLC. They were upset that the health got dropped because they felt like they couldn't take on big groups anymore. They felt they were too frail. Oh, you mean avoiding the hotspots directly? Well, we're even getting close to hotspots. Like, we're brushing up right up against them. And, like, we're still not having issues. And not to mention, you run into megapacks outside of hotspots, too. It's not like they just sit in the same place all day. Sometimes they get bored. They move around. Right? I had a mega mix pack jump me in Burn Forest, of all places. Right? Like, come on, guys. It's not like it's a hotspot unique issue, but there's tells, there's signs. You can usually, if you're paying close attention and you're being cautious, and you're not like carelessly throwing your weight around like I was, you can tell when people are trying to stall and wait for their buddies to show up, right? It's pretty easy when they don't want to fight you, but they want to like make you think they want to fight you, you know? And does it kind of spoil the experience? Yeah. But I think if people are going to play solo and then go to hotspots where they know big cuddle piles and mix packs and Discord mega packs are going to be, and then they die to said cuddle piles, mix packs, and Discord mega packs, and Discord clans, and then complain about it, like, grow up, dude. Come on. Like, we all know you did this to yourself. You know? Like, I'm just tired of it. And that's kind of why I want to do solo nights on Monday nights, you know? For the time being, until Dragonhold comes out. Because, like, I want to show off the solo experience. I want to show people what playing by yourself can be. You know? So far, I've had a great time, you know? I've had you guys, admittedly, to make it far more entertaining for me in those lull periods between fights, but goddamn, we've had some good fights. We've had some good fights. I have yet to run into a group. Most of our fights have been one-on-ones, but that's not bad either. You know? That can be a good thing. I'm not upset about it. Would I like a chance to fight a group? Sure. Yeah. I think it'd be great. Do I necessarily want that group to be a mega pack? Not really. Do I want that group to be a mixed pack? Not really. Will I fight them if I have to? Yeah, kinda. I'll fight to run away, you know? Tactical retreat and all that. It's the only reason I managed to pick off the Sarko and the Suko of that mix pack I talked about earlier that I ran into in Savannah. Right? Alright. When we get into the home cave, before we server hop, I'm going to show you guys my trophy collection. I don't have it placed down, but I have it in my decorations. And you'll have to bear in mind, this is a Spino that I've only had for unofficials. I only really played it once the TLC came out, so I've had about that much time to collect trophies and stuff on it, because I didn't start really playing Spino on officials until the TLC dropped. Is there a dino that I'm not good on because of a skill issue and not a problem with the dino itself? Yes. Yes, there is. I will tell you whenever I am on my character menu again, and I can scroll to it. As far as trophies go, three crushed bones, 2 large horns, 10 large teeth, and 15 sharp claws. I'd say probably 10 to 12 of those are Spinos. 3 to 5 of them are Sukos. I'm very proud of that collection. Anyway. Dino that I have a skill issue on. Well, I definitely don't have a skill issue on Aloe. I have a great time on Aloe. Not good with due to skill issue. Honestly, Packy. Honest to God. That's probably got to do with my mindset. Because, like, Packy's such a great playable that I get into my own head and I'm like, I'm fucking invincible, and then I run into some dumb shit and get killed. So, yeah, I would say Packy. Also Ramphorticus. Again, same thing. I'm like, ooh, I've got lucky feathers, I can take anything, and then I do some dumb shit and die. So, yeah. That'd be what I struggle on. Yeah, that's why I play Apexes, man. I wanna get in there. I wanna, you know. Yep, everybody play the laugh track. Everybody laugh at Leeching Bat's dad joke. Oh god, here it goes. Here we go. Oh Lord, have mercy. Alright. Server's been up for... oh, fuck. 3 hours? What time is it? No, okay, we'll stay. It's fine. Actually, we shouldn't. Player counts will start dropping off. See if we can find a better one. I want at least 2 hours, right? If it's up for like 2 hours, I'm fine with that. But I don't want to jump into one that's gonna reset in an hour, because there'll be too much pressure to get back to home cave. That's more like it. Alright. I'm gonna mute my microphone real quick while we wait for this adult debuff to wear off, and I'm gonna eat this apple turnover I've been waiting to snack on for a while. Alright, chat. We're back. Oh my god. Frogro, I'm sorry, but that... You just got cooked. You have officially been well done. It's on site? Oh my lord. You better watch out, Goose. You've awakened the beast. In chat, in case you don't know, quick shout out to Frogro, unironically. She is the one that drew my channel's profile picture. Huge credit and thanks to her. I tried paying her to do it, but she refused and did it for me completely free. Because she is a fantastic friend to me like that. So, huge thank yous to Frog for that. Well, now you can't be mad anymore. Now that I'm glazing you? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, love you too, Frogro. Frog's never catching you? Yeah, you're not wrong about that. You see, Frogro has this really silly habit of doing the exact thing that Leeching Bat and I both say not to do, which is sprint everywhere. Her hand is practically glued to the sprint key at all times. So when we do actually get in fights, she's fucking useless. She's like, I need to get Stam. I need to get Stam. You've gotten better? Yeah, but better isn't much. On a kilo, at least? Well, yeah, because you understand that running out of stamina on a kilo is a death sentence. Fun fact, tier 2s, 2 slaughters and 3 slaughters, they live and die by their stamina bars. So do the 1 slaughters. Chat, we have spotted a dasp. Is it going to try to cross? If it tries to cross right here, we're gonna jump it. Okay, yeah. Fair. Fair enough. The one that got away. That's fine. He played that smart. He sensed the danger and got the hell out. Nothing following behind it, so it's probably solo. Alright, I'm gonna pick up this blue quest for Azure Shore, and then we're gonna do like Goose suggested, and we're gonna check in on Red Island. See what's going on over there. So let's check what I put in the description. Yeah, solo Apex gameplay, Spino buildcraft discussion. Already talked about that. Talk about some game balance takes. Okay. Metri TLC would be fire. I'm not gonna lie. You know, Frog, maybe you should take it as a threat. Because it probably is one. You're talking to a certified Metri veteran. The moment the cuffs come off of him, it's game over. Take it as a promise. Yes, Goose. That is exactly how Frogro should take it. Alright, game wants me to collect branches. I wonder if this underwater wood stuff counts as branches. I bet it does. Yeah, baby. That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about. Oh, it's worth 10 branches. Yo, chat, we might have just found the best spot to get branches for Red Island Red Quest. Right here. Hell yeah, Batman. Alright, chat. What do you guys want to hear me yap about now? Because, I got nothing right now. Goose, I have to say, you are a phenomenal trash talker. You fit right in around here. Well, unfortunately, I don't think anything is going on in Red Island. What if I did a Gronite on Packy? Well, you see, Goose, I already have a Packy. And the purpose of Gronite is for me to finish filling out my roster. So if I'm gonna do a Gronite on Packy, it's gonna be after I've grown everything that I don't already have. Oh, Solo Night on Packy? I mean, I guess I could do Solo Night on Packy next week. I should one call on Red Island. This is like the one place I'd be willing to do that. Sorry, you had Grow Night on your mind. I could probably do a solo night on my Packy. Yeah. You know what? We'll do that for next week. Next Monday night stream, we'll do Packy. Alright, we just one called. Hey, what's up, Aegis? Welcome to the chat. Appreciate having you here. Alright, so I'm gonna get out of the water and go do this Bloodstone quest now that I've one called. Because if anybody here is a Spino broadcast coming from Red Island, they're just gonna immediately assume I'm in the water. And I like subverting expectations. How we going still? Get any kills tonight? Ooh, baby did we. We're currently sitting on 3 Sarco kills, a Rex kill, and a Spino kill. And we have yet to die this stream. You know what? While I've got y'all here, I know I mostly have been streaming path content right now. Oh, hold on. Frogro said something. So I'm gonna need to bloodshed. WB is do you mean Warner Brothers? Is Warner Brothers streaming Scooby-Doo? Okay, so you need bloodshed or a funny joke? Well, I mean, I did just one call, so we might get some bloodshed coming to us. Or a funny joke? Yeah, I got nothing. I'm sorry, I can't really, like, just be funny on demand. That's not how that works. Like, oh, tell me a joke, tell me a joke. How about you shut the fuck up, hmm? Wow. Does it count if I laugh? If I think it's funny and nobody else does? It's so funny, Zilla. Yeah, I know. You know what's really funny? Balls. Oof. Goose with the straight roast. That premier quality burn. Okay, so before Frogro interrupted me by threatening to leave the stream, I was gonna ask you guys. So I know I mainly stream Path of Titans content. That's what I've been doing the past 4 nights that I have streamed. And y'all know that I'm planning on streaming Dragonhold whenever that drops, which, you know, it's mainly because I want to do it. I don't know if any of y'all plan on watching. But I have to ask, how would y'all feel about me streaming some Vintage Story for the Thursday night stream? Because my Discord group has a server that we all play on, And they've been begging me to come join them and play, and I've been wanting to for a while, but with my new stream schedule, it's hard to find time, and so I don't know, like maybe the best time for me to do it is to stream it, right? At least that's my thinking, but I don't know, is that something you guys would want to see? Frogro, I know you'll watch, you're loyal. You're loyal. I know all my Discord homies will watch, but, you know, throwing out a feeler to the people here for the dinosaurs. How do we feel about Vintage Story? Sounds good? Hell yeah. That's what I want to hear, Goose. That's what I want to hear. I don't know if it's going to be a regular for Thursday night streams, but it might be. Frog, don't be scared to join. Don't be scared. It's a good time. Even when we're dying constantly, it's a good time. And no, everything has not been done. Just because we have, like, iron tools and shit doesn't mean that we can't still have a good time. No, Goose, it shows up as Honk King, but I didn't really feel like calling you Honk. Unless you would prefer that I call you Honk. But otherwise, like, I mean, you were Goose first. You were Goose when I first met you, and I mean, if you would rather I not dead name you, I get it, but like, I'll change my habits for you if you want me to. It's just, you know, it's just what's stuck, right? Frog, we'll teach you. We'll teach you things, don't worry. We'll walk you through the whole process. Oh, it's fine, you just weren't sure? Yeah, no, it shows up as Honk King. Yeah. Well, we gotta find some food. Hopefully that won't be too tough, but we are in ocean stacks. It might prove challenging. Not really much in the way of fish pods out here, but there do tend to be critters. So we shouldn't go hungry. We were too busy when server started, now I'm super behind. Frog, look, I'm right there with you. Do you know how many times I've been on the server? Twice. Twice. I barely have anything done, too, because I had connection issues both times. So, like, you won't be alone. You won't be alone. Besides, you gotta go on, like, Viking voyages with me on my boat. We gotta go exploring in the great beyond. Alright, chat. What are we talking about, Aegis? We're talking about the, we're talking about DKC's Vintage Story server. If nothing else for the content, thank you, Frog, thank you. Because we all know content's the most important thing. Another lungfish. Alright, here's the deal, chat. It is 11:33 p.m. Unless we get a really good long-winded fight that carries us past midnight, we're gonna call it at midnight. Because I got work in the morning. Because I'm on that hustle. Gotta feed my family. All that good stuff. Gotta get that bread, you know what I'm saying? You hope you see the frog struggle? Yeah, me too. Honestly, it's gonna be all of us struggling. We might be having to fight connection issues in our network more than bears and demons, if I'm being real. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it goes. I don't know, it might go so bad that I don't stream it again, but we're gonna give it a shot on Thursday. So I'll schedule Thursday and Monday's stream before I go to bed tonight. That way they're listed on my page. Now that we know what we're doing this week, because I've already got Wednesday's stream scheduled, so. Oh, we got a Kai. Is it trying to fight, or... It's trying to fight. Yeah, that's right. Get out of here. Move along. Yeah, there he goes. Chat, we just want to fight against a Kavakia. We beat up the pool noodle. Got it to run away like a little bitch. We take those W's. One call in GV? No. No. You're crazy. No. I'd like to keep my win streak going, thank you very much. I am not out here trying to get jumped by a mega pack. Yeah, unfortunately, Aegis, I think you're gonna be streaming while I'm sleeping, dog. But I would otherwise be there to support you. 100%. But we just got those time zone difficulties, you know what I mean? Alright. Let's get some oxygen. I didn't realize we were down to half. I prefer not to get that low, but... Is the pool noodle following us? No? Well. At the very least, we can tell Pyro that we encountered a wild Kywakia. Melon Lord message retracted. Frog. Are you trying to casually plug your actual channel? Like your art channel? Because I will plug your art channel. If you don't. I'll do it. No, no, no. Wrong account. What? Why don't you want me to plug your art channel? Are you embarrassed of your work? Is that what's going on? Do not? Why not? I need you to give me a reason, Frog. Also, thank you for boosting my views. I appreciate it. Art channel stays in the shadows? Why? It has over 2,000 subs. That is not in the shadows. That is very much in the public eye. Also, I second Aegis's question. I would like to know where I should post streams. What do you mean, because? What do you mean? Your art's good. I like your stuff. Alright, Green Valley is not red, so we are going to check out the southern lake. No. Fine, Frogro, I respect you enough, I won't plug it. But I can't stop anyone else from finding it. They are more than capable of using the search function. Spoon time, hell yeah. Hey, Steven. Yeah, I got that solo spoon action going. If you really want to see the action, though, you should rewatch the whole stream from the beginning. We got several good fights. So you have the rare privilege of knowing me at the age of like 14. I do have that rare privilege, and you know what? It's something I want to hold over your head for the rest of time. Stego. Yep, called it. I knew that trot from anywhere. Is it by itself? Because if it's by itself, chat, I think we can take it. Alright. Y'all, I'm going to read chat after I'm done figuring out what the deal is with this stego. It's close enough to the water at this point that if it does bring help, I feel confident that I can get away. We got it, chat. Let's get this bleed off. Oop, hold on. Alright, while I'm taking this trophy to home cave, I will scroll back. And I will read chat. Sorry guys, I had to lock in there. I had to lock in. found only one Melon Lord with 2k subs. Some of can reach the top shelf. Thumb down. Frog wishes she could reach the top shelf. Commenting the timestamp once stream's over? Hell yeah. Stego did good damage. Should have run. See, I don't think it could run Goose. I think it was too low on stam. I think once it saw me pulling up, it had to conserve what was left of its stam to try and fight back. And it did do quite a bit of damage, but that's because I wanted the fight to end quicker. I could have continued doing the tail bite tactic and nipping at it where it couldn't hit me back, but it was doing a relatively good job of still landing hits on me just because of how it was moving and how slow Spino turns. So I decided to just get on top of it and just try to out DPS it the rest of the way because Stego's got such a smaller health pool and a little bit less combat weight. I really don't think there was anything it could have done better there, except, you know, maybe not sprint everywhere would be a start. Turns out we kill a lot of people that do that. They overexert themselves, leave themselves exposed. Well, we got our Green Valley fight. And what time is it? 11:46? You know what? You know what, chat? I think we're gonna call it there. I think we call the stream there. And on a high note. You're gonna put timestamps for all the fights? You know what, Goose? That would be hella dope of you. I super appreciate that. Alright. You know what? Honestly, tonight's stream popped off so much, I might just end up uploading multiple of the highlight... I might end up uploading multiple highlight clips, or just like multiple of the clips in the one video. That's probably what I'll end up doing. Anyone that's just entering the chat, I apologize that y'all are catching me on the tail end as I'm about to wrap things up, but to everyone that decided to stop in, thank you so much. This really means a lot to me. Getting into this streaming, getting a community this quickly has been just totally inspiring. So I will bid you all adieu. Thank you for joining me, and I will see y'all